fun stage at LAN. I don't know about you.
Defeated, yeah.
It's time to dig into it, and guess what, Pengu? A lot of the old guard from back in your heyday are actually in this match right now. In fact, most of this VP roster was your ultimate rivals back in 2019 in the Team Empire versus G2 days. And man, it's crazy to think that in 2025, Dan, Joystick, Pasha, Shepard, always, this is still a championship contending roster. They're undefeated so far in the EML. They are looking in peak form.
On the other side, we got, you know, Fnatic here. You are here, that good old Apex shield saying, Fnatic, they're so good, they're gonna go top 8 this event. No, they're not, okay? This is, of course, a European roster now. It's different, they play in the EML. Fnatic, they have not made a single international tournament through qualification since joining the EU Pro League scene. Yes, they were in Rio, but that is an invited tournament, so we're not gonna count that one exactly, right? It's by qualification. They're looking to try and make it to the international stage. To get, you know, some more points on the board right now, their opponent, like you mentioned, James, it's Virtus.pro, which looks like the best team right now in the entire region. How scared are you if you're that Fnatic right now? You're playing VP on border, and you know they can play shields now. And shields can play an integral part of this map because you can go in with those fast attacks, Blackbeard or the Blitz, for example, or do very slow, disciplined map control with the Monty, which always will log in on this opening round.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Poor Fnatic.
There's no doubt. Fnatic do have a right to be scared right now. They're also on defensive border, which is very claustrophobic map. This is the smallest map in the pool, and it can be very attacker-sided. As long as those attackers can dislodge these key power positions. But guess what? As you said, we've got that Monty. We've also got the Capitao. We've also got the Blackbeard, by the way. And yeah, this combination is going to be deadly for VP at clearing these power positions from Fnatic. How long can they hold on to this ground?
To add insult to injury, of course, the Clash and the Sami ban will just make that map even more claustrophobic. Yes, you have Castle, but other than that, you can't really create a lot of safe space on defense. There's a Renegade really slowing down always right now. Grubby's gonna stick to this spot of East Stairs, and the longer that Fnatic can just stay in their first positions, the better. If they fall back very early, they're giving up so much for free towards Virtus.pro. A C4, a Toxic Babe gets the kill and stalls for more time. Great start for Fnatic.
They have fallen back safely, but drained a lot of time and util. Yeah. VP, though, they can start to take their control of Office. Actually, a reinforcement inside of Office of that single wall will stay established. Another beachhead for Fnatic to play off of. That numbers advantage, though, taking down Joystick, one of the key killers for VP. That's huge. Always starting to flush out this control of CCTV. Pasha coming to support as well. Good progress from VP, but as you said, numbers in a deficit, that's not a good look, and it's going to be hard for them to get back into it as a result.
But the value there, you see it always, just walks in CC, gets control, buys back some of that space, and now pressure downstairs onto Jax. He's gonna rotate around as well. The question is, can they clear out that Office position? I think they've given up single wall, actually. Oh, Grubby's just swinging it in Fountain instead. So Fnatic are giving up more and more space while fighting for the control. And there's one counter fire left in pocket of Shepard. That one fire could clear out one position.
Oh, and that's a good shot as well from Groovy. Holds on to his position. Coverage from Fire Extinguisher behind him. And then 180s to find that kill. The hard breach is going to expose these positions even more. Always, though, doesn't have a gun up. And a fadeaway opportunity from Grubby as he falls back down that hatch. VP inching closer towards the side, but guess what? Deep inside, it's Wizard, the newest addition to this roster. He's dancing around, he's exposed to two angles, and Dan will take him down. Now there's a plant opportunity available for VP, and if they can continue fragging out, they might make it possible. Low HP on Always, middling HP on Shepard, but Sarks to go for a swing. It's up to Always to force this plant down. Sarks, come on, mate. Eventually does get that kill, and with it, Fnatic can easily get the counter defuse off. VP a valiant effort, but a good start on the defense from Fnatic.
Yeah, really good attempt there for VP despite the poor situation they found themselves in. And I gotta say, if the Blackbeard doesn't go for the ADS swing, aim that 3-on-3 as the bomb is going down, maybe that round plays out differently. Kudos to Fnatic for fighting back, not being afraid of taking any of those confrontations, not being able to say, guys, we gotta go for it right now, 3-2-1, let's go together. But this early play, the C4 with the Toxic Babe, then they fall back, reinforce that second layer, play there for 1 minute, then fall back and play just by the bomb site itself. A very clear plan for Fnatic, or very good adaptation for every stage of that round.
Yeah, VP need to be careful. Even just a little thing like a C4 at the start of the round can disrupt that momentum, slow things down. Still, it is scary to think that there was a 3v5 and that execute near the end looked pretty close. Just goes to show the power of VP in their current form.
The more I think about that last round, the more I have questions about, like, what if they planted by the bomb site chassis instead of planting by the window, or like all these small mini things, you know. And when you're a player in the server right now, if you're VP, for example, you don't have time to think about the past. You gotta think about this upcoming round, because yes, this map of border will tend to play kind of similar across all 4 bomb sites. You pretty much always need to take East Stairs control, security break room, and armory and or archives. Because once you control the top floor, you will control what's beneath it with that verticality at the same time. VP, they didn't have that many gunfights last round, right? There was BB, a shield taking it mostly. They have 3 shields this time, James. They got Blitz, and the Blackbeard, and the Monty. And the only 2 guns that are on the board is Ash and Capital, highly important utility operators, right? Ash to deal with the mirror windows, and Capital for the fire and for the smoke. I'm curious right now, who's going to make that first entry? Who's going to take that first gunfight? Always can always walk up with the Monty and get information, but who's going to be the supportive cast behind him? A Blitz?
Danger of having too many shields, you do need someone gunning. It's actually a play on the AC balcony that does a lot of damage onto Wizard. Forced on back. Reinforcing the back of Fountain now for Sarks. Fnatic are in a little bit of an awkward position. They're falling off these mirror windows. They just need to peel back the layers of this defense piece by piece. Waste as much time as they can.
It's a great, I mean, you said it perfectly. Piece by piece, mirror windows are done. They got security tag we spoke about. I'm pretty sure with that, they also have more or less East Stairs control. Now for that second step, armory and archives. Once they have all these 3 areas, it's just about controlling what's beneath them. The one thing they are kind of lacking is verticality. We need to see Joystick stay alive throughout this entire round if they're planning to go for Vert. We see 3 defenders in office. Fountain fully reinforced. C4 downstairs. I feel like, again, Fnatic, they have a great read on the counterplay here.
Yeah, speaking of Vert, it comes down to that C4 from Fnatic on that defensive side. Wizard playing inside of Workshop. Pressure on the top floor, though, may come out from these shields as Joystick finds the first kill on a Grubby. In goes the Blitz, straight on into Office. Base checking the angles, bit of damage done onto Pasture, but he 180s! Double kill from Sarks! That could be the top floor held now from Fnatic. VP floundering. Shepard needs to try and look for that refrag. Always is left all alone. Needs to try and go for this kill. A lot of damage done. Eventually, the frag comes through in favor of VP, but a lot of damage done by Sarks. Worth his weight in gold in this round. 35 seconds in a 2v3. This is not looking good for Shepard and Always.
Absolutely disgusting attempt there upstairs. Plant halfway through. Can this happen? No, gets shot. They swing at the same time. Toxic gas as well. 20 seconds. Shepard. 95% cost, by the way. Support player. Consistent player. But in a 1v3 at 15 seconds? I don't know, man. Nope.
Straight into the line of fire of Jegs. What a round there from Fnatic. Got a credit to them. It really came down to one man. It was Sarks in Fountain to 180 and take down that Blitz. I don't know about you, but have they changed the way that Blitz flashes works? Because it used to be it doesn't matter if you're looking towards him or away from him, you get flashed the same. It's just the range, the distance that you are from him. So I'm not sure if the 180 was necessary or just for style points.
The 180 definitely matches, but I will say this, the flashbang radius is a little bit too far away. Blitz's flash radius is actually almost melee radius. It's very, very hard to land a consistent flashbang with Blitz. And this is one of the things I was going to talk about. VP are not really a shield team. They don't really have shield players. That's been one of their big weaknesses for a very long time. They are now playing them, but they're going to be a bit behind the curve with the experience of other teams, for example. And I think that round showed it. Always walks in. He's VP gets shot down to 20 HP. That's like a quote-unquote rookie shield mistake. The Blitz flashing from way too far away of a distance, also a rookie mistake. Yes, Sarge turning around definitely had an impact on that flash not landing, but even if he was staring at Blitz, he only gets partially blinded. So it's a bit of a mishap from the Blitz player Pasha, but also a great play from Sarks.
Yeah, credit to Sarks. Really saved that round. 4-1 so far, his first 2 rounds. Fnatic off to a good start on their defensive side. Certainly not what we expected coming into today.
No.
There were a lot of matches on the docket today that we thought Pengu might be a bit one-sided. And this was definitely one of them. This is the best team in the league at the moment in Virtus.pro, up against a Fnatic that's still in a rebuilding phase and has been unfortunately mediocre for quite some time. Now they're looking solid. Can they keep this momentum up?
Yeah, I mean, I think my prediction for this was like a 7-2, 7-3 at best. Fnatic, they got the first 2 already. I will say for Virtus.pro though, they've had a very clear plan that second round, fast in, peel it back layer by layer. And dare I say, if Sarks doesn't get that 2k, I do think that round is going to be a pretty clean one for them. So of course it's going to be about consistency. Can Fnatic either make all the right adaptations for all of these rounds, or can they have an individual player step up to the challenge and just do it himself and get those couple of kills? Right now it's about utility. Fnatic, they have said, okay, we got that one defender left, the castle that can change the landscape of the map itself because of that clash in the Sami ban. So therefore VP they say, okay, these castle barricades are going to be very valuable. Let's pick the floors, just spend the first half of the round, clear them out, enable all these long sides, long angles, and take it from there. The only downside right now is they're not really inside the building. VP members are outside, but Pasha finds Grubby, the one guy that was downstairs. Great early pick.
What's more, Grubby's util ineffective now on the Solus. No passive util to bring to the cards. Not like your Fenrir, your Castle. That util is gone for the round. Whatever the plan was with the Solus, whether it was just drone hunting or perhaps a late round information in terms of the plan, it's done. Sarks has re-roamed over to Customs. So there's still a lot of control on the ground floor here for Fnatic.
I think the Solus plan here, ideally, is to just figure out where the planet is going to be going down. Without that Solus, unless you have a ton of verticality, this planet attempt might just be doable. Blackbeard breaking the wall, Jax taking a lot of damage. Fnatic, again, they need to have the perfect counter, or they can just go for a plant here. VP, they're disciplined. They're going to take their time.
Yeah, there is a good setup here for VP. They just need to make sure that they don't get caught off guard. And that's good from Fnatic. Start putting that pressure back on VP, removing that backstab. We still have the plant potential, though, with the shield to cover here from Dan. But Shepard's on the diffuser. He's going to go in on the Flores. Sneaks inside into Workshop, but he's taken down from Wizard. The deep angle from Dan and Harry Potter. A refrag attempted, and now Pasha on the top floor has to drop down this hatch. His teammates are dropping like flies around him. Always needs to find an impact, but Deepek on the ground leaves it all up to Wizard now in a 1v2. He kicked things off for Fnatic, but now he's got to make this retake work. Always you have to stick that diffuser now. It's all up to Pasha to cover as the plan is being forced down. A good pre-fire through the wall. Finally, the Bears are on the board.
Finally, but with 0 seconds left, a clutch and a half, and I mean, dare I say it, it's one of those really ugly 50-50 decisions. The Warden holding the active angle on the hatch drop finds himself injured by the pre-fire. If you don't hold that angle and you let the ash drop in the air, you get a free kill because they're forcing that hip-fire animation. With that being said, if you don't hold the angle and you lose the gunfight after, the result's all the same. So it comes down to those small details once more. But I gotta say again, praise to Fnatic, having the counterplay, locking down the bomb site, and most importantly, they swung 2 or 3 people together on the one attacker outside main door. They were stock window, they were bottom main staircase, and they were on the A bombs door by that server rack. They said 3, 2, 1, let's kill this player so that we can focus all of our guns in the same direction for that actual bombs that execute from bathroom. Beautiful mini play. And there goes the kill
from Pasha as well. Yeah, 4 kills from Pasha. As you said, the Castle ban coming out from VP. But the Blackbeard on the other side, I think, has its merit as well. Dan has played that every single round.
Yeah. It's justified, definitely. The only issue with banning out one shield is that now there are all these other shields you can play. But Blackbeard is definitely like the odd one out because it has that primary weapon and brings the frag grenades as well on top of it. So you get a bit more map clear with the utility. I feel like banning the castle makes sense because now you're taking away all that nice, comfy, cozy gadgetry that can change the map around. But Fnatic have done such a great job in the first 3 rounds at just taking those gunfights and running around the map and rotating, giving up map space, going to that next level. I don't feel like Fnatic will struggle too much with the castle being banned off because they've already adjusted to that just when they saw the Asami clash.
Yeah, that's right. You're essentially banning 3 operators that are of a similar class or style here from VP, Asami, Clash, Castle, all of which put down util, or use util, that just creates these power positions and it changes the architecture of the map. Early kill, Dan goes down. It's a big one here for Fnatic. I'm not sure how that happened from Grubby. Oh, just an aggressive peek under the window. You can't really be affording to lose those if you're VP.
You know what term I like for that? We mentioned earlier the classes, the same styles, archetypes. They're the same archetype of operator. A little subclass there, you know?
I like that.
Yeah. Now, with the line falling early, this gives me round 1 vibes. It was joystick on IQ getting C4'd outside E stairs. Oh, there it is. Outside on the rappel. Just got found, I guess. Unlucky. When VP lose a player very early, they tend to slow down the game even more so, at the very least so far in this game. And Fnatic can use this to their advantage. Fnatic, they've been good at lashing out first when they have to make the hero play. Right now, I would argue, they can sit tight for a very long time and just play their very decided corners. Play their power positions. They do just that. Yes, Scrubby finds a kill, but he's playing, quote-unquote, safe instead of offense, not getting too overzealous. It's very good from them.
Very safe angles for the most part here from Grubby.
Until that.
Yeah, overpeaks a little bit. I'm not sure. Was that a re-peek there from Jags onto the same angle, more or less? Big kill. A lot of these moments just have gone begging here for VP. Even the fact that we had a player downstairs inside a bathroom looking to cut off Grubby, but didn't actually find that kill. It's just kill after kill isolated here for Fnatic. VP not looking too hot, I'll be honest. These attacks have been very rough around the edges. They found 1, but it's going to be a 1-3 scoreline, more likely than not.
See if they can clutch up. Kuman down the hatch he goes. They gotta go fishing for kills. I mean, 2v5, that's all you can do. Hope they make a mistake somewhere. Catch them off guard 1v1. But there's 5 guns up, no one's watching cameras. Fnatic, again, they're ready for a fight.
Freebie. Yep, at least always have found 1. Starks, a good player to put down. It's actually Grubby this round, though, that's been the deadly one here for Fnatic. Straight on in, cover him down. Another nice shot here from Always, but the trade comes through. Wizard on fire today. It's up to Shepard in a 1v3. Try and win the unwinnable round for his team. Out comes the fire. He's going to have to run straight into the line of sight, and yet Jags will put him down. What a game from Sarks so far, by the way. Looking happy on the face cams. Grubby, the same can be said for him. Fnatic, with what has seemed to be one of their best results so far. They're up 3-1 against the #1 team in the league.
I already touched upon the attack and operator bench too much. I think it's hard to predict exactly what the intent is, but the Twitch and the Nomad was the first 2 choices here. Of course, Nomad is about locking down the map or stopping defenders from swinging into those aggressive angles. Grubby keeps, you know, dancing between Fountain, Office, and E stairs. And Nomad in that situation can make him play a lot more passive and not go for as aggressive swings, for example. Twitch, we know that VP loves to play around information. Want better information to have that Twitch can also sap utility at the same time. You get information, they lose information, and Border's a very open map. Those Twitch shows get a lot of value very quickly. I do like these kind of, once I say targeted bans from Fnatic, it does, again, I keep saying this, it feels like there's a very clear game plan, they're all committing to it, and Virtus.pro can figure out exactly how to deal with it. Whether it's a player dying early, them being too slow in the round, them just not finding the right problem solving, or then, of course, when they finally find all of those things, Starks clutches it out in the round, getting that 2k against the Blitz, for example. Virtus.pro, they need a lot of things to go right, and there's always something in each and every single round that doesn't go their way. Even the round that they won comes down to a super close clutch, for example. They won perfect siege. They're not being given that right now by Fnatic.
I wonder how much of that is theory corrupting from Fnatic and how much of those target bans are based on information. We haven't seen VP play Border since the 6th Invitational in February. Oh, that is a very early kill onto Pash. It's straight into the Frost mat, and then What on earth is going on for VP? 2 players down in the first 40 seconds of the round. Always ineffective on that Deimos pick. Pasha completely destroyed. Here, a deployable shield makes Joystick's entry a little bit awkward. He's about to come up right against it. Likely to lose the fight. Head up, a little bit of damage done. Grubby on the floor, almost finished off. C75 in hand, looking to try and confirm that kill. But there's protection deeper inside of Office. That's Jegs. He's going to fall on back. So Grubby's a dead man, but that's okay here for Fnatic. They have an early advantage.
Yeah, cut your losses. You got 2 kills, Blitz and Deimos, massive value, and Grubby even did damage onto Joystick. Just let him bleed out upstairs. It's fine. Half the round still to play. A lot can happen right now. And Virtus.pro, when they had the 2v5, we saw always step up. But he's dead this time around. It's Shepard, Joystick, and Dan, who's all been having a bit of a hard time in the individual gunfights so far against Fnatic. We gotta see them now step it up instead. The issue is, only 4 drones left remaining. The shield up of Pasha's Blitz is also in the grave. You have 1 Dokubi call left for free information to act upon. That's it. So they have so few tools to create space to find openings.
Ooh. That was a very close shot there from Dan. Almost saw the angle. Player deep in workshop. Still an advantage for Fnatic in terms of the numbers, but these players are very separated. It wouldn't take much. It would not take much at all for VP to find it. And with this vertical game starting to come through, it's going to force these Fnatic players into more awkward positions. Make a little bit of space here for VP.
This might be plantable. The question is, do you sprint across and plant by the bathroom stall or right by the hatch on the soft wall? That's the question, because they're both risky in each of their own ways. With only 2 people covering, they can't cover everything, but they can cover most.
Good flash. Here comes the entry as well. Joystick opening up this hatch with the DMR. That's going to open the angle as well onto Wizard. There's a player flanking back upstairs. I don't think Joystick's dodging it enough, but it might not matter because Jegs is the last one left remaining. They get stuck in his rotate hole as well. VP, I'm not sure if they're aware of the position, but what we do know for sure is they have the side, they have control. And, well, with down on the floor, information as well on the Jegs' position. 2 versus 1 here for VP. A player above and a player on the rappel. Jegs has to get up nice and close and look for this counter diffuse. But they know exactly where he is, and this vertical domination is going to be untouchable here. Nothing that Jegs can do. Attempting the shotgun blast through the floor, but an easy lockout there from Virtus.pro. They're on the board, they're here to play, and they're looking strong, finally, on this attacking side.
Yeah, this is what I mean when I say that VP, they want to play a perfect round of Rainbow Six Siege. Was that perfect in every single aspect? Not at all. A lot of problems, things didn't go their way, but they got what they needed to execute their plan. They needed to get a guy down that hatch and then 2 people covering. And the big thing, they didn't just have Shepard drop, go for an instant plant. He dropped, he was holding angle, they were feeling out the movement from the defenders of Fnatic, then they got 2 kills, then they stopped planting. They had 1 drone on the board in that entire 3 versus 4, and it was in bathroom. So the only thing they had actual information on, besides the Dokubi call during the execute, was bathroom itself. They knew that was clear, and off of that single piece of information, they could establish a quote-unquote perfect execute for their situation.
Yeah, Fnatic been pretty good in this game so far, but that lead could very quickly slip away from them. 1 final attack round here for Virtus.pro and a chance to end the half even. Is it likely? I don't know, VP, they looked a little bit rusty in some of those earlier rounds, a little bit of lackluster shield play, as you said, from them. But that last round just gone by, that looked nigh perfect. Fnatic were locked out. But a lot of the time it comes down to these early kills as well. How many times have we seen an early frag and then the opposition just simply unable to fight back, unable to get back into this game?
It's funny because Border is always spoken of as a map that's hard for defenders, hard to, to have anywhere to play. You feel very claustrophobic, and with the Clash, Asami, Cancel Ban, this should be more true than ever. But it hasn't really felt like that in the game so far. And I don't know if it's because there are so many shields in play from VP most of these rounds that we don't see a lot of like long-range gunfights, or the fact that Garbage gets like an opening kill half those rounds himself in E-stairs. But often we see Border being played in other matchups. Attackers are quick, get towards the building, open up windows, doors, long onto side, and defenders seem like they have one corner to play in, and that's it. I don't know if VP are going in with the exact game plan to fully utilize the operators that they have chosen to ban. So this is either them banning operators they think would kind of make Fnatic play the wrong style of border, make them a little bit uneasy, they can't hide in their corners, or it's VP saying, we want to ban these operators with a specific strat in mind, I'm just not seeing it. VP are a very good team. They can play disciplined, they can play slow, now they're playing shields, but we're not seeing the same kind of VP as we did in the first play day and second play day.
Could be the first loss that VP suffer in EML so far. It's 2-0,
Fnatic.
only undefeated team. Yeah.
And it's not to downplay them, but Fnatic, as I said, they haven't made a single international tournament since they joined the European Pro League, EML. They haven't. They're not supposed to beat VP. They're not supposed to beat the bigger teams in Europe. Not yet. That's what they're working towards. Getting a win here would be massive for this roster.
Yeah, and the win that Fnatic have so far is against Wild, which is, of course, one of the lower-end teams.
Yeah, they just came from CL.
Exactly, one of the Tier 2 teams, essentially, in Tier 1.
Yeah.
And even Wolves, who unfortunately haven't looked too hot, that was a loss for Fnatic when they played them last week. On the VP side, I mean, they really set the expectations very boldly when they took Falcons down, which were perceived to be the best team in the region, 7-2 in the opening play day. That was such a statement for VP, and that's why we're so surprised to see them trailing behind. 3-2 is the score currently in favor of Fnatic on the defensive side, with one last chance for Virtus.pro to tie up the scoreline before we move onto their own defenses.
When you're in a situation like this as a player with a tech pause, of course you see the mouse, they can't really talk amongst each other, that's not really allowed, but you sit there with your thoughts, thinking about the upcoming round, what you can do, counter strats, specifics. And then you might sometimes have a player go, guys, we're going this bomb site, we're doing this strat, I thought of something crazy. And this, those great kind of things can happen from tech delay sometimes. I've seen it myself, I've been there. One thing that was called out really well from Fnatic was that frost trap on the office window. It perfectly caught the blitz on the office jump in on the previous round and just instantly got the kill. It's those small things where you gotta try and pick up the patterns of your opponent. And if you rewind 3 rounds prior, Blackbeard was on that office window every single round that they were trying to attack office. So when you ban the Blackbeard, what are the odds of a shield jumping in that window instead? Like a real shield, a Blitz or a Monty. That's where the Frostmech goes down. It's genius, and it got them a freebie, and it could have gotten Fnatic the round, but we saw VP, of course, clutch up in that 3 versus 5.
One thing I did notice as well at the start of last round, so the Deimos was picked, I believe it was the first time that we've seen Deimos picked by VP in this game so far, but so is the Lion. And literally, as soon as Dan spawns in on that Lion, he hits the E1D, everyone from Fnatic froze dead in their tracks because they didn't want to have their operator revealed for that Deimos. Sorry, that was, I think that was that round. Maybe it was 2-1. Oh yeah,
no,
it was this round.
On the money.
Overthought myself for a second. But yeah, so Fnatic even have a solid read here on how to be ready to counter that Deimos. Don't get yourself revealed too early. Of course, it makes you vulnerable to being tracked by that Deimos when the round starts. Fnatic are looking surprisingly comfortable despite going up against such a strong opponent as Virtus.pro.
The question is, can it continue? And if these rounds start getting closer and closer, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4, when it comes down to it, often experience ends up winning. And when you compare the years of competition, the majors, the finals, the SIs, whatever, I feel like one team gets really, really far ahead over the other. And that's Virtus.pro, baby. These guys have been playing at the highest level of play in Europe for, well, as you said, even back when I played Pro League, like all the way back to like, what, 2019? Like mid-late 2018?
Yeah, I've got the career debut I've noted for Joystick and Shepard being back in 2018, which is 6.5 years ago. For Joystick and Shep, and of course the rest of this roster has been playing for a very long time as well. It's crazy to think that this team, VP, have been a full roster for 2.5 years, even with this exact 5 stack. I mean, you compare that to what Fnatic have. I mean, Wizard has been on this roster for 18 days, at least his official debut onto the roster. And even before that, you know, Grubby has only been on the team for 3 months. Sarks for 9 months. Deepak, obviously, he's been on the team for over 3 years. But Fnatic is a much newer roster. We've had a lot more turbulent roster changes. VP infamously never makes player changes. Of course, they speak Russian while they play. There are fewer players in that region to pick up, but also, for some reason, VP never really seems to be lacking for talent. You still have 5 of the best players in Europe on the same roster. Yeah,
and that's pretty much always been the story. I mean, VP's current playstyle is very different from how they played back in 2018-19, of course. Every team's playstyle is different. It's been so much time. But they were literally known to play the same attacking strat every single round for the same bomb sites. So when you play on them on border, you know how they're going to attack Armory Archives. You know exactly which player is going to play which operator in which exact position. And yet you can still not beat them. That's how they started the first 2 or 3, maybe 4 years of their Pro League debut as a team. Nowadays, they're a bit more fluid, of course, but they've had the same style with the same players, with the same core principles and philosophies for such a long time. I can imagine it would be hard to make a change because it's such an integral part of how they play as a team. Slotting in a new player into that kind of design might be much more trouble than you actually think it is.
VP really used to play, especially when they were Team Empire. Used to play the game like chess, right? You memorize all of the openings, you learn the book moves, and then you just play them to perfection. You don't make a single mistake, you never make a blunder. Of course, these days you have to really keep up with the meta, you have to play much more dynamically, especially as we see that 3rd operator ban come out in the 3rd round of each half. But as we've said, Fnatic banned out that Blackbeard, which we saw plenty of from VP, and they've actually had more success after it got banned out. Since VP have been flexing their muscles on a couple of different options. For this final round of their attacking half, though, it's just the one shield, and it is that Montaigne.
I like this more. 4 guns and solid information. Always can call from the front, make good pace in the map, and just again, get that map control. What we haven't seen too much of is a very lethal gun behind him. Yes, they've done it once, but you gotta do it every single time you play the Monty. Monty, as an individual operator, is very non-lethal. You're not supposed to get any kills. It should all be near impossible. It's all about what happens behind and around the Monty operator. That's what creates that magic that you need. VP now, outside office, in E staircase, they've gotten that first step, they got the eyes inside a fountain office next, and there are soft walls this time. Now we're gonna see those long lines of sights being enabled, which should favor VP if they choose to go for it.
Well, good control already, and always can continue marching on forward. No pressure on the CCTV as of yet. The detonation of that fire extinguisher opens things up, enables a little bit more of an aggressive play in the hallway, but it'll be gone by now. Here comes the breach.
C4
onto the Archives wall. C4 very nicely placed. It doesn't find anything, but I think if there was someone outside that window, they definitely would have fallen. Love the way Pash is here on the AC balcony, ready to cut off as well. Next up, always turns his attention over to CCTV. There's the Fenrir. See you later, Sarks. He dropped straight down the hatch. One last player here from Fnatic on the top floor. He's here in Armory.
Careful.
Oh! Not accounted for. Deepak finds a freebie. Meanwhile, Wizard C4 connects. That puts us into a 5 versus 3 in favor of Fnatic. VP have not found anything back for their trouble other than the ground they've taken on the top floor.
They're doing so well. They got the map control, forcing back the roamers. They had full top floor at their disposal, and always makes a small mistake, jumping into the barricades and just taking 2 seconds and punching it down. Dan gets a kill back onto Deepak the Warden. High value target. There's no plant deny. There is no C4s, but with that also being said, you only have 3 attackers. You need 1 guy to be planting, 1 guy to cover the main door position, and 1 to cover the entire rest of the bomb site. Do that while having no smokes and no real plant cover, but then Dan finds another.
Yeah, and Shepard's dropped straight on in. He's planning in server, and the cover vertically is from Pasha. Whips out that pistol, but Shepard can cover himself. And suddenly, the tide has turned. The round is flipped. It's VP in control, forcing that diffuser down. Dan from outside finds 1. His 3rd kill of the round. And Grubby is trapped. He can't contest. He's being watched from outside. There's a player above as well. Should he even get close to the diffuser, he's no doubt going to be found. Gallo pings onto the player on site. Shepard already low HP. A few warning shots from Grubby, but still he's being watched from up above as well. 3 players from VP just waiting, playing separately, playing tag team. Grubby has to watch every single angle. Pasha from upstairs puts him in the dirt, and a beautiful recomposition from VP. They were down 3-1. They finished the half even.
They literally cannot play, like they cannot allow VP into 3v4 situations. They are so good at 3v5 for that matter. They find those openings every single time. I mean, again, they need 1 guy to plant, 2 guys to cover. They do that, and somehow we didn't quite see it, but then found kill after kill after kill seemingly out of nowhere. I assume because Fnatic are over-rotating. They're moving around so much, being like, okay, we don't really have any playable positions right now. So they're playing bottom main by the main door, they're playing by the main staircase, and then outside the building, just picks up those freebies. Shepard had to win an individual gunfight before he could plant. He wins out as well. High value kill into a plant. And just like that, they win yet another clutch of a round. There's the first one. Poor Deepak.
That's where it all started. The thing is, like, even a player or 2 down, VP just had such incredible map control. They had drones to prevent any kind of a flank. They had the entire top floor, and they had the vertical to make it work. All it took was the guns pointed in the right directions and the confidence to go for a plant. Great finish off to the half for VP. Now we flip things. It's defense time, and Fnatic have banned away the Fenrir and the Warden, both of which they used quite excessively. VP, on the other hand, it's a Monty ban for them. Blackbeard is left in, as is the Blitz. Neither of which have been picked, by the way.
No. This does a lot of aggression for Fnatic, right? The Fenrir, of course, is gonna stop you from entering, taking those gunfights because of nearsightedness. The Warden just opens up a lot of both planting, but also what we call cheese strats, right? The Ying, that's been out by VP, really great read there, but also the glass. Smokes in general can be so effective. So I'm curious to see what the plan is. Fnatic in the opening round, very kind of standard lineup, nothing too like out of the ordinary. But it very much can pack a punch. The Lion, of course, combined with the Deimos is very great. Either stand still, because Lion charge and move, but Deimos can still see you. Wizard self-destruction, also passively in case of a clash.
Yeah, I love the Zove. Zove doesn't get a ton of love. Not a lot of people like to play the 1-speed operators, but man, does she pack a lot of good util. The hard breacher tin can openers, the 2 concussions, as you said, especially for that clash. The explosives also to do with the clash. The castle, if picked. Oh, here's an aggressive jump out. What are you doing, Always? He still finds a kill! He finds a double! Grubby's on the floor! Eventually trained on back by Wizard, but what a hell of a run out from Always.
Into the air jab, found the injure mid-air so he doesn't die. I mean, that is so worth. Deepak 20 HP, Grubby 20 HP. They've spent 2 toxic babes, but I'm gonna say it again, it's worth it. Fnatic now feeling so much pressure from the beginning of the round. Despite having the perfect counter operator, that play still happens. Pasha finds another on the staircase, and Fnatic, they are not being let inside this building.
Oh, already low HP. Grubby almost killed by the gas babe, thrown long range from Shepard. He can't move. He's so trapped right now. Can't afford to walk into a goo mine either. Always has been so valuable. Big swing from Dan. The round is over. Surely Deepak desperate inside of office. He finds Dan attempting to dash on out of there. It's just him and Jegs now. The 2v3 may be possible. But after such a strong start from VP, I'd be very surprised if they let this one slip between their fingers.
VP known for their discipline. We see it in post plans. They never go for ego swings. And right now, in numbers advantage as well, they will only swing when they have to. Shepard finds a freebie. Deepak now left all alone in 1v3. Pasha holds the angle. Easy round for Virtus.pro. Playing aggressive from start to finish. Understanding, hey, right now we're even. We can go for a play. When that play then works out, let's just fall back, hold our angles, play our numbers. Nobody has to do much work in this round.
Can't wait to see that replay from Always. That was unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen someone get an injure mid-jump out. That was an injure, by the way. Finishes it off, and then he goes for the second play. You also can barely see anything when you're in the Toxic Babe. Grubby, unfortunately, I don't know whether... Was he reloading or something? But he
I'm
didn't
not
manage to
sure.
get that shot.
I think he
you
hopped on
not
drones. I'm
refrag
not
that?
gonna lie to you. I think he was droning at the
think
worst
he's-
possible time.
No, I don't think he was. He had his gadget active. He had a death mark going.
Oh, maybe it was caught in the timing because there's an animation at first. He could like literally not shoot
Maybe.
back. I'm not sure. But jumping
regardless.
out through a toxic baby is crazy to me. Like he tanked half his health bar just to get out the window.
I mean, this is always we're talking about who, across the first 2 play days, is by far and away the best player in the league.
Unreal.
Absolutely untouchable. Yeah, 6-1 on his entry, by the way. 162 EPS. Absolute demon. Less than 10 deaths, almost 30 kills. So if you're playing like that, yeah, you'll have a little bit of confidence. You'll go for a little bit of those crazy plays.
Does that make it? Oh, main door, I guess. Okay, I was gonna say it doesn't make the roof. I'm not sure how I feel about Brava in rounds like these. I'm not saying
Dude,
it's a bad operator.
look at what he's getting right
I know,
now.
I'm
Lap it
seeing
up.
this. But like, these are runic gates are such bait value. They don't actually give you much in the round, in my personal opinion. Maybe they will, we'll see. I just feel like it's one of those, is it actually valuable to hack these or not? The bulletproof camera I fully get. But there's 2 of those at most in this round. Even by hacking both of those, you could just clear them out with other operators, but whatever. He did find some value there, that's for sure.
Well, perhaps those internal Renegades are more valuable as well, preventing defensive retakes in the late rounds. Pasha does find a kill though. Did Sarks poke his head on into sight? If so, I'm not sure why. Perhaps it was the vents window he died from. Good start from VP numbers. Ground very slowly being taken from Fnatic. Wizard the only player with boots in the building so far.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the effect of Deimos just yet. The Grumpy outside. Just peeling back the layers of those keybas, denying them one by one. Nate's being used as a first track. What will he do with it? Does 36 stick around? He tries to front back, but Wizard with a great angle there denies the retreat.
I'll tell you what, Wizard has been in peak form. New player on the roster with a lot to prove. Joining a team like Fnatic, who frequently take chances on younger talent. And Wizard's been looking solid. Fragging out in this game, that's for sure. A lot of ground now for Fnatic on that top floor as Grubby continues to take more of it, opening up the vertical angles as well with the Vendetta. There's a player watching his angle as well. Just to be careful to be caught reloading. A lot of bullets to work with here in the Vendetta. 6 in that revolver.
As the player is right below him. Please, somebody open this floor. Please, you say as Sledge is dead on the board. You got that second shocker from Brava. Jax finding more and more value as time goes on, but these vertical holes are just lines of sight. They're not finding any real players right now. The plan attempt could very well be real though.
But every single one of these defenders, as you say, has retreated from the site to escape that vertical game. And that enables things for Fnatic. It opens the gates for a plant opportunity on site, but guess what? We've got info here from Shepard. He can watch as the players drop, and he sees that diffuser start to go down, but Deepak from the top of the main stairs cuts the map in 2 and prevents the retake here from Virtus.pro. Pasha to find his, but that bomb site has been locked on down. Wizard as well, covering in the post play onto Dan. Pasha gets in deep, he's got the DMR to work with. Pasha might be able to bait for Shepard, but he doesn't win his fight. And at the top of the stairs, Wizard locks it down for Fnatic. And a great attacking round. Another great round from Fnatic, where they've had so many moments in this matchup where, despite everything, they've looked like the better team, despite expectation, despite pressure on their shoulders going up against a behemoth.
Fenrir is gone. There's
like
areas
VP.
around the map. If they're playing super Aggie at the start, remember, we can come in behind them, yeah? Fenrir is literally gone. Also, like I said before the game, Warden ban, first of all, that's a C4 gun. Bomb like tellers they could take here. They usually like to play the C4 on that from the Warden, yeah? One less C4. Guys, that round, did they even take a C4? They had nothing. No. Just try and get a head count on the operators. Try and see, importantly, where they're not playing as well. Yeah? If they want to play really aggro at the start, boys, but they don't have the Fenrir to hold all the backstabs, as we know they do, let's drone around the map. Let's see where they're not playing, boys. Yeah? Jags that round, he hacked everything by Vent instantly. All of it. There was nobody playing there. Yeah? Start thinking about the operators. They got to start thinking about how we're playing. But good fucking job, boys. Come on, keep it up.
Can play glass, guys.
No.
Okay. Finding the gaps,
that.
classic C. Yeah, but it's also very clear, very like precise, and it's what happens. It's what you gotta do. The only kind of thing about those words is that it sounds a lot easier than it actually is. Just drone it out, figure out the operators, where they're playing, and where the gap is. It sounds so simple. Executing it, however, not so much.
But you could hear what Sathis was saying there, the coach of Fnatic. He got in immediately. He was saying, guys, we know they're not bringing C4s. Fnatic have a read on VP, and you know that was true last round, and it's true again this round. I was thinking it when we saw that Deimos opening up the floor with the Vendetta. This guy is so vulnerable to a C4 right now. Not a single one was tossed his direction, and it's the correct read again this round. Of course, a bit of a different situation when we change bomb sites, but again, there's vertical potential here. VP could be going for these C4s. There's so many operators in abundance that they could be bringing. Fnatic banned out that Warden, which is probably one of their comfort operators that happens to have a C4. Pasha could be bringing it right now on the Sentry, but he's not. He's the only one in this lineup that even has the option of bringing a Nitro cell.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I think Tristan Sathis, coach of Fnatic, said they like to go, you know, bathroom tellers, and that's where the Warden C4 comes in. So if they don't have it, they're not gonna have one. So you're right. Like they have the perfect read. They're also playing 4 beat boops, as I call them, likely to replace the Fenrir ban as well, because it acts similar, right? You walk in the door, the beeper goes off, you know they're there. Fenrir does the same, beeper does the same. But now the Brava pick also makes more and more sense with value, because if they're banning the Fenrir, and VP will play double beepers to replace that operator, now you're playing Brava to hack those beepers, they won't work anymore, and that gap exists again. So backstabbing, very high potential. If Brava gets in, if Twitch gets in. Utility game, Fnatic definitely winning. Yeah. But they gotta also win their first gunfight.
Yeah, there's also Banshees you can hack as well, in terms of value you get out of that Brava. Good info as well, lot of info. I mean, when you bring Brava and you bring Twitch, that's a whole lot of extra drones that you usually don't have available. Information becomes aplenty for Fnatic, and they've got themselves into the building a little bit as well. They really want to try and take that kill. They take a little bit more ground. There might be an opportunity here to go for an attempted plant with the Glaz to cover. Brava once again into the site, hacking.
There's the value.
There's the beat boot, as you say. There's the Banshee as well. Wizard likely to catch a player here.
I like this so much more than last round. Again, much more higher value targets to hack. It weakens a very important part of the map. This right here, Wizard looking for the kill, has the yellow ping with a 50-50 angle. Always won't swing it, again disciplined as ever. Waits for him to walk on him because always has verticality on his side. He's got teammates above.
It's not going to work out though, unfortunately. Always managed to sneak around. There's the reinforced wall next to him as well, and this exchange is not really going to happen. But elsewhere, there's been a hell of a lot of chaos. Straight into sight here for Wizard. Sarks also trying to support. Oh, Sarks, you just need to land those. Wizard coming in from the other side is the last one left. That round, absolutely pitiful from Fnatic. A few attempts, but VP were ready for everything, despite it feeling like Fnatic were in control of that. Excellent utility usage, everything that you'd think that they would want, but as soon as the kills came out, it was all VP all day long.
It's hard to say exactly what happened because you didn't really have the full picture. They were watching the backstabber happen, right? The Always versus Wizard fight, but it did look like to me that Fnatic didn't have a lot of like phantom pressure around the map, which I assume VP read into a direct bomb set attack because of it. It was just Wizard backstabbing by main stairs and ventilation. That was really it. So it was a 4v4 on side essentially, which typically favors defenders. The Brava ban came out. I was gonna say this makes a lot of sense. And no surprise there at all. Again, the value that we're gaining from it with the Fenrir ban especially makes so much sense to me. A smoke ban. Now, if you're not gonna play C4s and you're not gonna have a smoke available, do you have any real plant deny? Not really. But now with the Brava ban, you can play Maestro to a 100% effect rate because you can't hack those Maestro Evil Eyes, or you can bring out Tashanka from Shepherd. That's like your 2 options to deal with that smoke ban.
Yeah. I do wonder what Fnatic intend to do to play into it. Last round, like you said, they went for a... First we prep with util, with the Brava.
Yeah.
And then we go for some kind of an execute. And when the smoke is banned, when you know your opponents aren't running many C4s, that, like you said, is when that execute heavy strat comes even more powerful. Especially the Glaz, right? You don't have a Warden, you don't have a smoke, you're not running C4s. How the hell are you planning on countering this Glaz? Which has now been brought out. You mentioned the Tashanka. Shepherd does bring it in this round, but It's still
Maestro,
it's not a
man, I would love to
guarantee.
see it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
Maestro
2
is so
bulletproof
good.
cameras at least.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's like a mini Maestro, if you will, but borders, the bomb site itself, very close to each other, especially Armory Archives. Those evil eyes, they grant you like every single thing in vision. Through smokes.
And you banned Brava anyway, right? Like, that Maestro is not very vulnerable.
Exactly, like there's no, like, you can't cook grenades anymore either. So half the Maestro spots are like near impossible to grenade, and very least it's hard to comfortably grenade them. So Maestro's value right now is Gigastonks. The only weakness of Maestro, you need a person to be actively on the cameras, and on border, you don't have a lot of safety as a defending player. So you might not have a person for that job. Sark's finds always, he goes down early, can watch the cameras now, but his teammates also falling apart. Great pre-fire from Sark's once more, 2 in the round.
Yeah, this is huge here from Fnatic. Doesn't matter that VP in some ways have a good read onto the setup. These air jabs and these angles here from Sarks have locked down the defense. Dashing back, Dan looking for safety, but it's not a good look here for VP. Fnatic are circling the bomb site. They're setting up nicely. They still have smokes in pocket here to enable that glass when the execute eventually comes on through. And Dan does not have the util to speak of. Unfortunately for Deepak, he does have the shots. And out of nowhere, VP have flipped it. 2 big kills. Jegs will refrag, bring this back for Fnatic. But Dan and Shepard are in decent positions. Shepard almost finds one, aggressive with that bearing 9 on the Tachanka. He's now getting into a bit of a make or break position inside of Archives. Fnatic have a chance to flip things. They can go for Armory here.
Gotta see Grubby and Blackbeard lead the way, get the information. There is one player. Where is the second? Once they find out them both, they can kind of look at that from the gadget use, right? There's gotta be deep archives most likely. So now they can cut the bombs in half by playing beepers. Cut the bombs in half and hit one of them.
The Tachanka needs to have an impact here, slowing down this push.
Oh, they're not cutting it.
Grubby has snuck on inside. Info now. The E1D rings on out. They know where both of these players are. This should be Fnatic's round for the taking, and Jegs will claim both kills. Big round from Fnatic. It has been back and forth all match long, but Fnatic are looking like they are here to play. They're fighting tooth and nail, and VP are being pushed to their limits.
This is looking incredibly good. I mean, the read, the operators, the counters, the opening kills from Sarks in that round. And I'm looking at Virtus.pro, I'm going, they're playing Oryx and Monty's banned. He's just kind of running around them. Yeah, sure, Dan is getting kills. He's getting value from like the gun perspective. But it does feel like to me that VP might be a bit blindsided by the operator bans that have happened towards them. They might not have the perfect counter for the situation, because they find themselves in like quote-unquote lower value operators in my mind. 5-5. As I said earlier, when it gets very close, we gotta speak about experience. That's where VP they pull ahead tenfold. But Fnatic are so well prepared on both the defense and the attack, they find themselves in a 5-5 scoreline. And that alone, regardless of what happens from here on out, is a massive success for Fnatic as a team and as a roster. But of course, when you're here, you can taste the victory. You want to go all the way. So now, what did Tristan say? Figure out the 5 defending operators, or as many as possible. Count the bodies. Figure out what they really care about or what they're missing, and then find the gap, find the counter. Fnatic have 2 ways to win this. 1, get those early kills by winning a good gunfight or a good pre-fire, like last round from Sarks. That's the easy way if you can do that. The second option is picking apart VP and saying, hey, we want to attack this bomb site. To do that, we gotta clear these positions and keep it very simple. I think for Fnatic right now, less is more. Don't try and spread yourselves too thin. Have a duo system where you always have a player nearby to help you achieve your goal.
And it is such an important round for Fnatic too. What a big scalp to take. Virtus.pro sitting at the top of the standings, undefeated. Haven't even been pushed deep so far. Fnatic have a chance to give them a run for their money to steal the first points off of the Russians so far, but they jump straight into their death. Shepard waiting from below, finds the player on the jump in. Sarks, the deadly one, he's down. So's Grubby on that shield. Fnatic are left with more questions than answers. A good shutdown of the aggressive play from Always. Wizard on the board. They'll need a hell of a lot more than that. And again, elsewhere, another run out from VP. They're looking to turn off this aggression. keep Fnatic on the back foot.
They got the Val camps, they got the Solars, plenty of information, but they can't get caught watching cameras or being too passive. If Fnatic get top floor control, they can go for that same kind of plan like before. VP should know this. They need to hold on to the ground that is going to be armory for as long as possible. In that 3v4, VP know it themselves. Planting is definitely a real possibility. They're going to drop with a full minute to go. This could be disastrous. And they get the kill as well. All of a sudden, Fnatic, they're right back in the driver's seat, and they know they dropped.
Big chance now. They seemingly don't because of this angle being held by Deepek, but VP have completely forfeited the top floor. They've fallen back to site. Now there's info for Jegs. He knows that Joystick is down near the bottom of main stairs and near customs. He's trying to bait for Pasha. Shepard is the big playmaker in the vulnerable position on the site. Pasha as well to support. 30 seconds left to play. Fnatic, how do you make this one work?
You gotta break apart the floor and choose your plan spot. Do you go B window or hatch drop? You gotta cover the two other angles while you go for a plant. There's no damage track, we got 4 grenades. If they get the first pick in a 3v2, then they're gonna be flying.
Look at that timer, it's dwindling down, and Shepard is the first to fall. Pasha for a double! It's a massive round from him! Joystick to claim the final kill. Virtus.pro, they claim match point just ahead of Fnatic, who have given them a massive run for their money, and this is not done yet. One last chance now for Fnatic to push overtime.
Way too close for comfort. The one thing that I didn't really have was verticality, and this is where a change to Sophia really comes into effect. Sophia lost the soft breaching charge secondary gadget and got the can openers, the hard destruction gadget instead. If you have a bit more soft destruction there, you can do full verticality on the A or the B bomb side, or if they had a bit more time, Deimos with the pistol could perhaps deny Pasha that position by the B bomb side door because he found the 2 kills. That's the big difference. When VP was in the attack, they cleared the full bomb side vertically, forced Fnatic away from it. And likewise, last time Fnatic attacked that bomb site, they did the same thing. But they didn't have the vert this time, they didn't have all the ring conditions, and they lost the round because of it.
And with that, they might have lost their chance here. Fnatic attacking onto that Teller's bomb site. VP are looking primed and ready to have a third regulation victory here. A third full 3-pointer. VP the only ones to be undefeated so far in the league, at least in terms of perfect matches. G2, of course, also undefeated, but they won one of their matches in OT. Not quite the same as a clean record that VP can boast and will continue if they can win right here. Fnatic, though, they need every point they can get to guarantee that they end up at the top end of the standings here. They're currently sitting on the outside looking in 5th place. And we know how quickly it is that Fnatic can fall down in the standings. It's a rare time these days that we see this Fnatic roster at an event. Of course, we saw them at Reload. They didn't even have to qualify. Can they qualify for the next event? Remains to be seen. VP holding on to the site. Fnatic poised to look and pressure on the top floor first.
The pressure they're building. If you make a mistake early on right now, it's an attack on the entry, and you've died first, you put your entire team in a much worse position. Fnatic, normally in the building fast to go for kills, now holding these passive angles, hoping for a freebie, a donation if you will. Just Pasha with a perfect read, avoids that long line of sight, takes a bit of damage down the rotate, but gets in alive. That's the most important part. VP aren't giving up anything for free. Half the round bird, only just now got Archives control for Fnatic. They're gonna be very slow in this round. Time might just be a problem.
Yeah, it will be, because Fnatic were banking on getting a kill on that rotation upstairs, but Pasha managed to escape with his life. Good map control taken, though, for Fnatic, but at what cost? 1.5 minutes and no kills? It's not good enough. Still a lot of control of the top floor, still held by VP over on Office, and this is where the drones come out.
Yeah.
Wizard starting to see where these players are hiding inside of Office. It's a crossfire. He didn't get as much information as he needed from that position. And now the pressure is on for Fnatic as VP hold on inside of Office with that crossfire. It's Dan holding down the line.
Problem is all the soft walls. There is few places to play right now for VP, but on the outside there's only 2 drones alive. So intel for the attackers. Deepik starts off with 1. 5 versus 4. Take a breather, Fnatic. That's the first one. There's many more to go. And if you're too slow, that Tashanka fire will be a problem.
A breather, yes, but not for too long. A second kill here. This time for Wizard. Big one. Pasha goes to try and make a rotation into Passport, and Grubby shuts him on down. 5 versus 2 now for Fnatic, and the chance at overtime is theirs for the taking. Information as well onto Shepard, thanks to the Deimos. They need to look to form up a plan. But have a look at that timer. It's ticking down by the minute. Joystick and Shepard have to try and deny this plan to the best of their ability. The Tachanka fire looking to try and keep it at bay, but Jegs is coming in from the side, and Deepek, he's made it a 5v1. It's all up to Joystick with the world stacked against him, and it's a flawless round to rocket Fnatic into overtime.
Against all the odds, not getting the opening kill, being low on time, not being given anything for free by Virtus.pro, they gotta take office with 0 drone information. They gotta say, guys, we gotta walk in this room, clear all the corners, all the angles, and cover each other. And they do it flawlessly. No one dies, barely anyone takes damage. They do the vert, they get the track, and they get down into a safe plant position. The most important thing, Fnatic, they are now backstabbing and kind of warping around the map. They were attacking from, you know, the long hallway double door office, from archives into fountain. Once they get that control, 2 players straight down east stairs, get another kill, and they go into the bomb site through the windows and the breach, not the hatch itself. So now they're really playing the map. To make things even better, Fnatic are staying on the attacking side at OT, VP on defense. And with how things are going, I think this is exactly where Fnatic, they were hoping they were going to end up at.
My Pengu, VP are being pushed further than they've been pushed so far, and God, I mean, you look at the matches that they've played Falcons, for goodness sake. They were meant to be one of the top teams in the league. Gen G, yeah, bit of an easier opponent perhaps, but Fnatic, we didn't expect them to be at the top of EML. We didn't expect them to be vying for one of the top places. They've been a middle of the pack team, maybe lower middle even, for quite some time here in Europe. And now they've taken points off the big boys and gunning for a win. And onto the attack now as well. They looked very solid at second end of that half. Can they keep that momentum going?
I know they've been to Tashanka as the supplement to the smoke ban, right? But I don't feel that the gadget is ended up finding much value in these rounds per se. And the drone work and Deimos and even Dokkaebi to a point, they've been very valuable for Fnatic. I feel like a mute here instead of a Tashanka who did so much damage. Get a C4, little off camera, get a primary shotgun still, which of course Tashanka and G work similarly. Shepard now playing a very forward position. The nade is running towards him. He's gonna crawl away. He's okay. But right now, I just don't see the real value here of the operator pick. Always.
Elsewhere. Does find his... Oh, God. Not a good look here for Fnatic. 2 kills coming out from VP. Isolated. A third one always. When in doubt, I guess you just got to swing to win. Wizard's gone down, who's been unbelievable here for Fnatic. A top fragger, especially since that rehost. 9 kills already. Always hungry for more, though. This player looking to sneak on inside. It is Sarks. Don't think Always knows he's already inside. But it doesn't matter, because he'll take his head off anyway. It's up to Jegs now, and he'll take down Always, but it's a 1v5 required. The first entry into overtime here, not looking quite as hot as Fnatic were hoping. Very lackluster, but you can't really put it down to much other than Always went absolutely nuclear, and the rest of VP held their lines.
It's crazy how different the round can play out. It looks so easy for Virtus.pro. Fire from above, fire from below. I take it back. Tashanka is the best operator in the game for that round. He gets the final kill as well. Beautiful.
Yeah, not often you see a Tachanka gadget kill, but in tandem with that fire extinguisher, really gave him no choice. And that is match point now for Virtus.pro. A second match point for them. A chance to right the wrongs of what happened just before we went into overtime. But of course, they'll have to do it on the attacking side. Fnatic, though, I mean, they've already claimed 1 point from this match, but there's a second one still up for grabs if they can win these next 2 rounds.
For the people at home that are not too familiar with the new operator ban system in competitive play, rather, Of course, you ban 2 operators in the beginning, you play 3 rounds, then you ban the 3rd operator. When you go into overtime, you're keeping the same bans that you picked in regulation on both sides. So Fnatic, when they're defending, they banned Nomad, Twitch, Blackbeard. That's not gonna carry over into OT. So nothing really changes, just in case anybody was curious. It carries over directly from regulation, and of course, when you're defending, you're banning the attackers. When you're attacking, you're banning the defenders. So both teams will be very accustomed to these operator bans. So the deeper you go in the series, you know, entering overtime and whatnot, you're gonna get more and more aware of what the possible issues will be. Missing a certain operator, being target banned, because you're gonna be having more rounds to adapt to it, essentially. So that's why we're seeing these different operators coming out, Sense being brought in, Sledge all of a sudden, Virtus.pro going for a very different approach than that in regulation.
Yeah. Of course, you mentioned target bans. That's exactly what Fnatic did when they were on that defensive side in regulation. It was Nomad, Twitch, Blackbeard, all of which were specific targets onto these VP players.
I'm reloading!
And VP struggled, surprisingly, on their attacking side. That first half was pretty rough for them. It started off with a 3-1 lead for Fnatic, but as you said, Rainbow Six is a game of adaptations these days, and that's where we need VP to step up. It's a different beast to regulation now, and they have match point before them.
Good news, there's no frost traps on the board this time for Fnatic. Good news for Virtus.pro, that is, because last time they played Blitz, that's how they died. It was straight to a frost map, and nade right behind the Blitz. Miss input, perhaps. This time goes into the window to clear out the goo mine, most likely here. Gotta take down Sarks. The first foe in their path, second goo mine goes through. Pasha dead.
What is going on? That's a massive mistake there from Pasha, and another kill as well for Fnatic. Things are not looking too hot here for VP. It's just Shepard, and always, as I say that, always falls, and the round is done for Fnatic. Very lackluster there from Virtus.pro. Fnatic barely had to do anything other than hold down the line, hold right click, and click on some heads. We're going all the way to round 15 in the most lackluster of ways for Virtus.pro. Fnatic have a chance at claiming a second point out of this match.
Both rounds in OT so far had the exact same outcome. VP, they played heavy E stairs, killed all the attackers. On the flip side, Fnatic played security, killed all the attackers as well.
Парни, вы должны просто, блядь, принять решение какое-то. В смысле, блядь?
How's he Russian?
Вы когда отдаете вверх, вы там ездите, входите в размен, вы должны принять ебаное решение. Если вы решили отдать ебаный вверх, вы должны себе отдавать отчет. Вот если вы, например, бочки играете, у вас есть тачанка, вы должны растянуться по этому первому этажу. Вы не можете стакаться в ебаной мастерской в 3 чела, нахуй. И 4-й у вас заперт в кабинке. Вы не можете так делать. Вам нужно идти таможку, у вас вся стена пробита.
We did not enter the building fast. I think we should literally just open the fucking main door. Literally one of you
maybe get a Brava or Twitch behind me in case they have any fucking... Because they have procs
can live draw you. We can live draw you. We can play Twitch and live draw you in, you know?
I love that. We're getting the Russian breakdown. We don't get a word. Garbage is dropping the FM going, let's just in the main door and just...
Damn. The contrast between these two teams, like I think it was Kajeka talking, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's like fully stratting things up. Like I heard Tachenka this, I heard whatever. And then we go to the Fnatic side and it's Grubby just saying, guys, I reckon we just throw out common sense and just run in from the main door. I love the contrast here.
And he doubles down because then someone goes, but I think they have a beeper, and he goes, doesn't matter, we'll live drone you. Like, we're literally just sending you in, like, it doesn't matter what's there. I love that.
Big call. I mean, if you're going to go out, you go out with a bang. There's only one more round to go in this game, no matter what. It's either VP or Fnatic that get the 2 points out of this game. And my, what an upset it would be if Fnatic claimed the first victory over Virtus.pro here in EML 2025. VP have looked stone cold in the first week of play. Here coming to the second week, not quite as hot as we expected.
Just gonna point out that Shepard is now playing mute with a C4. I like this very much. it's
seeing
perfect
a C4.
for the Dogaby, the demos, for denying the drones, the walls, etc. as well, to make it more safe upstairs. This is a great round for it because, again, it's the first time. It's an adaptation. Fnatic might not be ready for it. They got the Dogaby. They don't have the demos. This is the play right here. The live drone in main door with Nuke chasing behind. That's what Grubby called for.
And Starks has gone very deep all the way in customs already. No one in detention to worry about. He's going to try and hold, wait for a rotation here. Problem is, this could be a one-and-done kill. Joystick is not in position to be exposed. Always is very close. Sarks for a rotation. There's a single player on site. It's Shepard. And I think they know about it. Out comes the Dokkaebi call, the logic bomb. Shepard likely to fall victim here. Sarks has to land this shot. This is his moment, and he does! That's the player down! Fnatic now have the bomb site. Virtus.pro have to look to try and recompose and get back into it. Pasha to open a vertical line of sight and look down into sight. But they have no idea how many players have stolen control downstairs.
It's all phantom pressure. Sarks gets the kill, gets up, but VP have to respect it. They can assume he left the area, but they won't know for sure as the group of cameras can't see him. Fnatic, they get the freebie, but it cost them a fair bit of time, and they committed 6 drones during that play. Some to help, of course, Sarks and the Nuke, some upstairs as well. VP, they hold the map control. They have the vertical advantage. But Fnatic, they got numbers advantage. They can send more bodies against the problem upstairs, but it always equalizes down to a 4-4.
And this might be where VP get back into it, especially with Joystick getting aggressive on a CCTV on the back of a Valkyrie cam for information from his dead teammate. Shepard has been worth his weight in gold despite dying early in the round. He's helping the rest of his team pick off Fnatic one by one, who are now trailing behind in the man count and getting desperate, having to retake this top floor.
Big investment. Dokkaebi is dead as well. They got 1 call of value, but that was really it. 40 seconds. Where's the gap? Where's the opening? Fnatic, they're approaching the side directly with no smokes, no nothing. Can they really do this? I'm
well,
not
they're taking down the Val cam for information, so it might just be possible. The plan is going down here from Deepek. Grubby looking to try and cover. Is it info? Deepek falling! A trade, but it's not going to be enough. Numbers still in favor of VP, as that diffuser needs to be picked up by Grubby. Starks the player on the top floor, but the goo mine meets his demise. It's all up to Grubby now in a 1v3. He's feeling pressure, he's feeling bullets, and he does fall to Dan. It was an onslaught and a half, but the Bears remained undefeated in EML 2025. Fnatic pushed them to their limits, but VP cannot be stopped so easily.